Behind Castle Walls. Chapter 1. Shadows at Crown Hall. Emerald silk rustled gently as Princess Lyra Vane adjusted her gown nervously within the plush carriage. Beside her, Prince Dagaro sat motionless, his handsome face unreadable under the passing moonlight shadows. Her pulse quickened as uncertainty gnawed at her composure. "Where exactly are we headed, Dagaro?" she finally ventured, her voice softer than intended. He glanced her way briefly, his gaze cool yet gentle. "To Crown Hall, Lyra Vane. Every prince knows its significance, but until you are in the royal court, not a word is spoken. Tradition dictates our path." Lyra Vane studied his expression, searching for reassurance but finding none. Outside, towering walls loomed, ebony spires piercing the starlit heavens. A shiver traversed her spine as the carriage halted smoothly before an imposing iron gateway. "Crown Hall," Dagaro announced quietly as a servant dressed in midnight blue opened the carriage door, extending a silent hand toward Lyra Vane. Dagaro nodded slightly, an implicit command to descend. Her heartbeat quickened as her delicate slippers touched cold, stone pavement. Around them, 7 other carriages disgorged their occupants, women draped in gowns that whispered tales of their distant kingdoms. Lyra Vane recognized each instantly. Zenobia, with skin pale as winter frost. Isolanthe, eyes dark as desert nights. Azurina, with hair like spun gold. Olisa, whose grace rivaled ocean tides. Salantha, radiant as a blooming rose. Eldamira, delicate yet resilient. And Nymeris, fierce as the northern winds. A commanding figure stepped forth from Crown Hall's grand entrance. Silver-haired and stately, Lady Seraphira held a gaze as sharp as a blade. "Welcome," she greeted, her voice smooth and chilling as polished steel. "You are now wards of Crown Hall, chosen to serve beneath the visible power of your husbands. Here you will become masters of influence, wielders of unseen authority." Azurina, ever outspoken, asked hesitantly, "Serve? In what manner?" Seraphira's smile was enigmatic, unsettling. "Your husbands rule openly, yet true power lies behind veiled curtains. You shall be trained to become irresistible, cunning, and lethal, should the need arise." A ripple of unease passed between the women. Princess Elisa lifted her chin defiantly. "And if we refuse this training?" The older woman's smile faltered momentarily, replaced by a steely glint. "Refusal," she whispered ominously, "is not an option." A heavy silence settled as the princesses exchanged wary glances. Seraphira stepped aside, revealing a shadowed corridor illuminated faintly by flickering sconces. "Follow," she instructed gently, though her voice brooked no defiance. "Tonight your true education begins." Lyra Vane felt a surge of anxiety as the heavy doors closed behind them, locking out the familiar world they had known. High above, from a concealed balcony, all the newly married princes watched silently. Prince Dagaro, however, watched impassively, doubt flickering briefly across his features, uncertain whether his bride had entered a sanctuary or a gilded prison. Chapter 2. Veils of Deception. Lyra Vane's heartbeat echoed through the cavernous hallway as she and the other princesses moved forward under Lady Seraphira's watchful gaze. Sconces flickered along walls adorned with intricate tapestries, depicting scenes of both beauty and subtle brutality. She shuddered, the artistry somehow more unsettling than comforting. Lady Seraphira stopped abruptly before a massive wooden door carved with symbols Lyra Vane did not recognize. "Inside lies the Chamber of Veils," Seraphira announced, her voice solemn, yet oddly alluring. "Here you will shed the facade of innocence and discover your hidden strengths." The doors swung inward soundlessly, revealing an opulent room bathed in soft amber light. The walls were draped with flowing silks of various hues, obscuring the room's dimensions and giving the space a dreamlike quality. At its center stood 8 elegant mirrors, each framed in ornate gold. "Choose your reflection," Seraphira commanded softly. Lyravane approached a mirror hesitantly, feeling drawn to its shimmering surface. Her reflection stared back, emerald eyes wide with apprehension. Suddenly, Seraphire appeared at her shoulder. "Look deeper, princess. Beyond your beauty, beyond your fear. What strength lies beneath?" Lyravane felt the words like a physical push, compelling her closer to her reflection. Gradually, the image in the mirror shifted. Her soft features hardened subtly, eyes sharpening into something keen, perceptive, lethal. Her breath caught in astonishment. "It cannot be," Lyravane whispered. "Yet it is," Seraphira murmured approvingly. "This is your true nature. Here you will learn how to harness it, how to conceal it." Nearby, Azurina gasped as her reflection similarly transformed, her delicate beauty replaced by fierce determination. Zenobia's eyes glittered cold and calculating, while Nimerice's reflection wore a confident smirk, ruthless in its allure. "You will become masters of perception," Seraphira explained, circling them slowly. "Always elegant, always dutiful, yet never fully revealed. Your true weapons are secrets and subtleties. Your smiles will be disarming, your whispers devastating." Solantha stepped away from her mirror, clearly shaken. "And what about love? Trust?" Seraphira's gaze softened momentarily. "Those are rare luxuries. Guard them closely. Crown Hall demands your loyalty first." A heavy silence filled the chamber as the princesses contemplated Seraphira's unsettling words. "Tonight, rest," Seraphira instructed gently, gesturing toward a hidden door that slid open quietly, revealing a lush suite beyond. "Tomorrow your training begins." Lyravane moved reluctantly toward the inviting room, but paused, casting one last glance at the mirror. Her new reflection, powerful, cunning, met her gaze with a chilling familiarity. "Who are we truly becoming?" she whispered into the silence. Seraphira's voice answered softly from the shadows, tinged with both promise and warning. "Exactly who you need to be." Inside the chamber of veils, Lyravane faced her reflection, startled to see her features shift subtly into a hardened, powerful image. Each princess experienced the same transformation. Azurina grew fierce. Zenobia became coldly calculating. Nimerize smirked ruthlessly, and Solantha appeared shrewd and perceptive. Lady Seraphira appeared at Lyravane's shoulder. "Your strength lies hidden beneath your innocence. Learn to harness it, conceal it. Your true weapon is subtlety." "Who exactly are you, Lady Seraphira?" Azurina questioned boldly. Seraphira's eyes darkened briefly with memories. "Once I too was brought here, trained, shaped. I rose above my station to protect our kingdoms. Now I do the same for you." The princesses exchanged wary glances, realizing they were following a path Seraphira herself had walked long before. Chapter 3. Threads of Intrigue. Dawn broke over Crown Hall with a deceptive gentleness, casting golden rays through ornate windows. Lyravane awoke, finding the suite eerily serene, adorned in sumptuous fabrics and delicate furniture that belied the ominous training promised by Lady Seraphira. A knock sounded at her chamber door, and before she could rise, it swung open softly. Zenobia stood there, her fair skin unusually pale, eyes glinting with wary determination. "Come quickly," Zenobia whispered, urgency coloring her voice. "Lady Seraphira awaits us." Together they hurried down corridors Lyravane barely remembered, finally entering a vast circular chamber. This was the Hall of Echoes, its walls lined with shadowy alcoves, each containing a different test or challenge. Lady Seraphira stood at the center, resplendent in midnight velvet, her silver hair illuminated by morning sunlight. "Today you begin your true instruction," she declared solemnly. "Here, You will master manipulation and subterfuge. Manipulation? Azurina's voice held disdain. Seraphira regarded her coolly. Manipulation is merely another word for influence. Influence, my dear, is the essence of power. Nimrod stepped forward confidently, defiance etched into her posture. And how exactly do we master this influence? Seraphira smiled faintly. Through understanding the hidden desires, fears, and motivations of those around you. She gestured to the alcoves, each now illuminated softly. Inside them, statues stood, incredibly lifelike, each representing figures from their kingdoms, advisors, nobles, even their princes. Observe carefully, Seraphira instructed, moving among the princesses like a shadow. Notice their posture, their expressions. Learn to decipher truth from deception. Lyravane approached an alcove where Prince Degaro's statue stood, his face a perfect mask of calm authority. Her heart quickened, anxiety mingling with curiosity. Study him closely, Seraphira whispered beside her ear. What lies behind his strength? What secrets might you uncover to ensure your place beside him? Are we to spy on our husbands, then? Olisa's voice was sharp, skeptical. Spying implies deceit, Seraphira countered smoothly. Consider it a deeper intimacy. Knowledge ensures survival. It safeguards power. Lyravane hesitated, her eyes tracing Degaro's marble features. A flash of uncertainty rippled through her thoughts. Could she betray his trust, even for security? But within her reflection, from the Chamber of Veils, she remembered the powerful, cunning woman she glimpsed. Your love need not diminish, Seraphira said gently, sensing her hesitation. But unguarded love is vulnerable. Learn these skills not to betray, but to protect. Lyravane swallowed hard, nodding slowly. Her gaze hardened with resolution, an unspoken vow forming within her heart. She would learn, she would protect, but beneath it all, a whisper of doubt lingered. Lady Seraphira observed her with quiet approval. Very good. Let the training commence. As morning deepened, Crown Hall became alive with whispered lessons, quiet observations, and hidden truths, binding the princesses closer, yet setting them subtly apart, each preparing for the delicate game unfolding silently around them. In the Hall of Echoes, Seraphira taught the princesses to read hidden motives and exploit vulnerabilities. The statues representing princes and courtiers became subjects of quiet investigation. Lyravane studied Prince Degaro's likeness, conflicting emotions twisting inside her. Lyravane swallowed uncertainty, beginning to grasp the delicate web of intrigue woven around them. That evening, Lyravane overheard Seraphira speaking to Degaro, the tone urgent and tense. Do you believe they're ready? Seraphira asked. They must be, Degaro answered. The threats are growing, but if they discover why they're really here, they must never, Seraphira insisted firmly. Their ignorance protects them, and us. Lyravane's heart sank, realizing betrayal. Degaro, her prince, held secrets she never imagined. Later that day, Seraphira guided the princesses deeper into subtle manipulation. Each learned to weave influence discreetly, the line between protector and manipulator growing thin. The princesses grappled silently, bonding together in secret determination to maintain control over their destiny. Chapter 4: Whispers in the Dark. Evening fell swiftly upon Crown Hall, draping its grandeur in shadowed secrecy. Lyravane wandered through the dimly lit corridors, unsettled yet driven by an irresistible curiosity. The day's lessons echoed in her mind, each hinting at layers of intrigue deeper than she'd ever imagined. A faint whisper floated toward her from the hallway ahead, prompting her heart to quicken. Concealing herself behind a heavy tapestry, she peered cautiously through a small gap. Lyravane has shown great promise, Seraphira mused almost fondly. Yet I fear for her. Degaro's voice held genuine worry. She's strong, but perhaps too earnest. Seraphira sighed gently. Earnestness can become cunning, given proper motivation. Your bride is resilient. Trust the process. And if they uncover the true purpose of Crown Hall, Degaro asked quietly, tension clear in his tone. Seraphira's pause was telling. They must never learn. To maintain their loyalty, ignorance is essential. Lyravane froze, shock rippling through her. The tapestry's velvet fibers felt coarse against her trembling fingers. A wave of confusion and fear surged within her. Loyalty founded on lies felt dangerously unstable. Footsteps echoed closer, forcing her back into the shadows. Degaro and Seraphira passed, their faces masked by composure and resolve. Lyra Vane watched silently, her mind racing with turmoil. She had believed Degaro to be her anchor in this unfamiliar place, yet even he participated willingly in deceit. She slipped silently toward her chamber, only to find Nymerus waiting outside her door, eyes sharp with suspicion. You heard them too? Nymerus asked bluntly, barely disguising her anger. Lyravane hesitated, then nodded slowly. There's something they're not telling us, something dangerous. Nymerus's jaw tightened defiantly. We must uncover their secrets before it's too late. And what if we discover something worse than our fears? Lyravane questioned softly. Nymerus's gaze hardened further, resolve shining fiercely. Then we face it head on, together. As Nymerus vanished into the shadows, Lyravane entered her room, heart heavy yet resolve slowly taking root. She knew now she couldn't trust blindly, not even Degaro. Secrets held within Crown Hall were beginning to mount, and the princesses were beginning to unravel, and so too were their illusions of safety and certainty. Before retiring for the night, Nymerus confronted Lyravane again. We must uncover these secrets before it's too late. Lyravane nodded resolutely. Then we'll find it, together. Chapter 5. Unveiling Truths. The next morning brought with it an uneasy calm, the pale dawn filtering softly through gauzy curtains. Lyravane had barely slept, her mind entangled with doubts and suspicions. She rose slowly, steeling herself for whatever lay ahead. A gentle knock on her door startled her. Lyravane, Salantha's cautious voice carried softly through the heavy wood. May I come in? Please, Lyravane replied, opening the door swiftly. Salantha slipped inside, her usual warmth shadowed by concern. Nymerus spoke to me last night, Salantha began hesitantly, eyes glancing nervously at the door. She says something terrible is hidden here. She wants us to help uncover it. Do you trust her? Lyravane asked cautiously, measuring each word. Salantha sighed softly, her delicate features troubled. I trust her intention, but the consequences, we must tread carefully. Agreed, Lyravane murmured thoughtfully. But ignorance isn't safety. If there is danger, we must confront it. Their conversation was interrupted by a summons from Lady Seraphira, delivered by a silent servant. Minutes later, all 8 princesses gathered in the grand hall, tension crackling silently among them. Seraphira stood at the dais, her expression serene yet distant. Your final lesson approaches, she declared, eyes sweeping meaningfully over each princess. Tonight, you will attend the Elevation Masked Ball. It is there you must demonstrate your mastery of charm, influence, and subtlety. The success of your husbands, your kingdoms, relies on your performance. Lyravane glanced covertly at Nymerus, whose jaw was set in grim determination. Salantha trembled slightly beside her, uncertainty radiating off her in waves. Prepare yourselves thoroughly, Seraphira instructed with gentle authority. Appearances are everything. The slightest misstep could unravel alliances years in the making. As Seraphira departed, the princesses lingered hesitantly. Nymerus moved quickly toward Lyravane and Salantha, urgency blazing in her eyes. Tonight is our chance, she whispered fiercely. While everyone's distracted by festivities, we search for answers. Crown Hall's secrets won't stay hidden forever. Are you certain? Salantha whispered anxiously. Nemaris's eyes hardened further. We must know the truth. Lyra Vane nodded, resolute despite her lingering fears. Then tonight, we discover what they have hidden from us. Music echoed hauntingly through the glittering halls, where masks concealed faces but not intentions. Lyra Vane moved gracefully through the sea of silk and intrigue, her heart hammering beneath the delicate embroidery of her gown. Nemaris and Salantha exchanged subtle glances, signaling their readiness. Remember, Nemaris murmured discreetly, we meet in the Eastern Gallery when the clock strikes midnight. Lyra Vane nodded slightly, the subtle movement hidden beneath layers of careful elegance. You seem troubled, Dagaro whispered, holding her close. Only nerves, she lied smoothly, a fake smile masking her true feelings. The Elevation Masked Ball was held to celebrate the princesses having successfully completed their training. But beneath glittering disguises, the princesses moved deliberately. Lyra Vane slipped quietly from Dagaro's watchful gaze, joining Nemaris and Salantha in descending secret stairways, finally finding the library and uncovering ancient archives filled with unsettling truths. It was midnight and unnoticed, the music fading behind her as she hurried toward the Eastern Gallery. Salantha and Nemaris awaited her anxiously, faces flushed with excitement and fear. Quickly, Nemaris urged, pushing open a hidden door they had discovered earlier. A narrow stairway spiraled down into shadows. Descending silently, the trio found themselves in a dimly lit chamber filled with ancient scrolls, maps, and books. Dust covered every surface, hinting at years of secrecy. What is this place? Salantha breathed, stepping closer to examine the text. It looks like a record room, Lyra Vane said softly, fingers tracing a map marked with familiar kingdoms and symbols she couldn't decipher. Look here, Nemaris called urgently, holding an open ledger. Her voice trembled. Our kingdoms, our marriages, all arranged years before we ever met our princes. Lyra Vane felt the room spin slightly. Dagaro hadn't chosen her out of love or destiny, but because their union had been decided long before they'd met. There's more, Nemaris continued, eyes widening with horror. These alliances aren't just political, they're strategic. Crown Hall trains us to manipulate our princes, control our kingdoms from behind the throne. Manipulate our husbands, Salantha whispered in disbelief. To keep peace, yes, a familiar voice said from the shadows. Seraphira stepped forward calmly, her gaze steady yet sorrowful. Power is fragile. You are essential to maintaining balance. As they'd opened tome after tome, they were surprised when Seraphira and Dagaro appeared, calm yet resigned. You now understand your true purpose, control from behind the throne. At the cost of our freedom, our hearts, Lyra Vane's voice shook with anger and pain. Seraphira regarded her gently. Freedom is an illusion, love, a luxury. Your kingdoms survive through your hidden strength. You lied to us, Nemaris accused, outraged. Seraphira met their fury with quiet sadness. To protect kingdoms, we sacrifice illusions. Chapter 6. Truth Revealed. Dagaro said earnestly, concern etched deeply into his features. Lyra Vane, he breathed urgently, eyes meeting hers in quiet apology. Forgive me. The other princes arrived soon after, expressions tense and remorseful. Dagaro stepped toward Lyra Vane, apology in his eyes. Did you know? She demanded softly. Only partially, Dagaro admitted with quiet regret. But I hid it for your protection. Secrets erode trust, Lyra Vane countered firmly. Around them, other princesses confronted their husbands similarly, anger mingling with hurt. Seraphira observed quietly, her own story mirrored in their anger and betrayal. Together you have the strength to reshape tradition, but beware, the truth brings responsibilities. A heavy silence enveloped them. Laervain's heart ached bitterly, trust shattered, yet somehow strengthened by honesty. Nemoris and Salantha waited tensely, watching for her reaction. Nemoris straightened boldly. We'll decide our fate now. The princesses stood unified, determined. Lyravein took Dagaro's hand firmly. We face the truth openly, together. Dagaro nodded, eyes filled with resolve and promise. Together. Seraphira stepped back, a subtle, knowing smile playing on her lips. Your journey has only begun. More secrets await. Prepare yourselves. As she vanished into the shadows, Lyravein felt the weight of new responsibilities settle upon them all. Above them, Crown Hall loomed silently, its ancient walls still hiding countless secrets, secrets yet to unravel. Finally, Lyravein exhaled slowly, meeting Dagaro's gaze with firm resolve. We choose our destiny now. Together. No more hidden agendas. Dagaro nodded solemnly, stepping forward to take her hand gently. Together. Lady Seraphira smiled faintly, stepping back into the shadows. Then guard your secrets well, princesses. The true test begins now. Above, the music played on, oblivious to the quiet revolution born beneath Crown Hall's glittering facade, forever altering the fate hidden behind castle walls. Stay tuned.